A man walked past walls lined with corpses. People were tortured and killed before his eyes. Yet all he could think about was his rockets. This genius, who worked for Hitler, was responsible for the deaths of thousands. But America turned him into a hero. They rolled out the red carpet, had him shake hands with presidents. And 24 years later, thanks to this very man, Neil Armstrong set foot on the moon. The man who built Hitler's deadliest weapon and also carried humanity to the stars. Wernher von Braun. 1912. Prussia. When Wernher was 13, his mother gave him a telescope. As he gazed at the moon, something inside him broke. From that moment on, he had only one goal: to go there, no matter the cost. In 1932, the German army found him and made an offer: unlimited budget, unlimited resources. The task was simple: build rockets. For von Braun, it was a dream come true. In 1933, the Nazi regime came to power, but the young engineer didn't care. Politics meant nothing to him. Rockets were all that mattered. By 1937, at the age of 25, he became the technical director of the massive rocket facility in Peenemünde. In 1940, he was offered SS membership, but it wasn't really an offer. It was an order. Von Braun knew exactly what refusal would mean, so he accepted. 2 years later came a historic moment. The A4 rocket, later known as the V2, reached the edge of space. For the first time in history, a man-made object crossed beyond Earth's atmosphere. Von Braun's dream was starting to come true. But Hitler saw something else: a weapon capable of leveling London. In 1943, Allied bombers wiped Peenemünde off the map. Production moved underground to the Mittelwerk facility, and there, in the depths of concrete tunnels, one of the darkest chapters in history was written. Thousands of prisoners from the Buchenwald and Dora-Mittelbau concentration camps were brought in as slave laborers. In freezing tunnels, they slept on straw scattered over stone floors. Half-starved, dehydrated, filthy, many collapsed and died at work, and were immediately replaced by others. Von Braun visited the factory at least 10 times. Each time, he walked through the same corridors, past the hollow eyes of prisoners, past piles of corpses near the ambulance hut. The stench hit his nose. Blood stained his shoes. A French resistance fighter later recalled, "Professor von Braun saw everything. From dawn till dusk, he witnessed the pain, the screams, the deaths of the prisoners. He never said a word. He never said stop." In November 1944, an act of sabotage took place. 12 prisoners were blamed and sentenced to death. Their hands were tied behind their backs, wooden gags forced into their mouths to silence their screams. Cranes lifted their bodies slowly, agonizing minutes of strangulation. Von Braun knew about these executions. The numbers revealed a horrifying truth. Over 3,000 V2 rockets were launched at London, Antwerp, and Liège, killing more than 7,000 civilians. Yet even more disturbing, around 20,000 prisoners died building those rockets. The V2s killed more people in production than in action. By 1945, as the war neared its end, von Braun had already made his decision. He would surrender to the Americans, not the Soviets. He escaped to the Austrian Alps with his team and turned himself in to U.S. forces. What he brought with him was worth millions. Every rocket design, every document, every secret. America brought him in under Operation Paperclip. The CIA erased his Nazi past from official files and shielded him from war crime investigations. Why? Because the Cold War had begun, and what was in von Braun's head was more valuable than gold. The past didn't matter. Only what he could build now. In 1950, von Braun and his team settled in Huntsville, Alabama. By 1958, the big day arrived. Explorer 1 was launched, marking America's first major victory in the space race. In 1960, NASA was founded, and von Braun became director of the Marshall Space Flight Center. The transformation was complete. Hitler's rocket master had become America's space architect. On the morning of July 16, 1969, at Kennedy Space Center, von Braun watched his own creation, the colossal 110-meter-tall Saturn V, roar into the sky, carrying Apollo 11 to the moon. On July 20th, Neil Armstrong stepped onto lunar soil. At that moment, von Braun's childhood dreams finally came true. That same year, 1969, a West German court called von Braun to testify in the trial of former SS members from the Dora camp. Under oath, he declared, "During my visits to Mittelwerk, I never saw a dead man, nor any beatings or killings. Was he lying? Or did he truly not see? Perhaps he simply chose not to. We'll never know. What's certain is that he never took responsibility. In 1977, pancreatic cancer found him. He died at 65, maintaining the same defense until the end. I was only a scientist. I had nothing to do with politics." The same hands that built the rockets to reach the moon also built the missiles of the death camps. The same dream that carried humanity to the stars buried thousands underground. Can heroes and monsters really be that close? How should history remember him? Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share to stay updated.